West Windsor Power, Site Safety Orientation.
We are, NG. No life at risk. Personal safety is a top priority for NG, which seeks to reduce the frequency rate and severity rate of accidents, both for employees of the group and those of subcontracting companies. NG's ability to operate safely and reliably around the world is the foundation of both its operational excellence and economic performance. This is why the group is committed to the no life at risk approach to achieve its target of zero fatal accidents. NG's no life at risk policy is based on 4 pillars that apply to everyone, whether they are employees or subcontractors. Life-saving rules: 9 fundamental rules to be respected by everyone, everywhere. The breakpoint. If you're not as safe as you could be, say stop immediately. Identify the breakpoint and stop an accident before it happens. Hypos. A hypo or HIPO is an event with high potential for causing death or serious injury. Identifying hypos contributes directly to preventing risks. Shared vigilance. Employees, subcontractors and temporary workers must be vigilant for each other, for their own safety and that of others. Life-saving rules. To keep you safe. To keep everyone safe. Number 1. Verify that there is no live energy, mechanical, chemical, electrical, fluids under pressure, etc., before starting work. Number 2. Do not perform hot work unless the fire or explosion risks have been eliminated. Number 3. The atmosphere must be tested safe before entering a confined space, and monitored as you work. Number 4. Clip on your harness when working at height. Number 5. Stay out of the path of moving vehicles and plant equipment. Number 6. Do not handle your phone or any other communication device when driving. Number 7. Do not drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Number 8. Do not walk or stand under a load. Number 9. Only enter a trench if the appropriate wall supports are in place. The life-saving rules are there for a reason, to keep yourself and others safe. All 9 life-saving rules must be followed by everyone working on an NG site. Before starting any work at West Windsor Power, all visitors and contractors are required to sign the visitor's logbook, located on the 2nd floor in the administration area. If you leave the site, for materials, lunch or at the end of your shift, please let the shift engineer know you are leaving. This is also a good time to sign off any work permits, and remove your personal lock. Lastly, please sign out of the visitor's logbook just prior to leaving the site. In the case of an emergency, we will be looking for all people that are reported to be on site. Anyone working at West Windsor Power must be at least 18 years of age. You must review the site safety orientation video. Once you have reviewed the safety video, you will be given a sticker for your hard hat. The date you received training will be marked on the sticker. You are required to refresh your safety training every 12 months. Along with the sticker, you will receive a wallet card with site safety information. Please take time to review the card and keep it handy for future reference. All contract employees will be assigned an employee liaison to work with. This person can assist you with any questions you may have about the site, equipment, operation, required PPE, or help you to obtain work permits, coordinate confined space entry, or anything else that you need to complete your work safely. Contract employees who have been site-orientated, and assigned specific work, are expected to remain in the general area of the work. Touring through the plant unattended is prohibited. The shift engineer in the control room is the controlling authority for all activities in the facility. You must follow all instructions and requests made by the shift engineer. Contract employees are required to attend a safety meeting at the beginning of each shift. For day shift, this meeting is typically held at 7:45 a.m. in the control room. During this meeting we will review the work plan for the shift, The Job Safety Plan. Arrange for work permits, hot work permit, or confined space entry permit. Share with other work groups and individuals any activities that may affect their safety.
Industrial control systems are critical components of our facilities as they allow safe and efficient operations. Over the last years, more and more IT components are integrated into these systems, which increase their vulnerability to cyber attacks. An attack on an industrial control system could harm people, damage assets, or even the environment. We must protect them from hackers. As the first line of defense, you have a critical role to play. When working on site, you must apply the following rules. Always follow procedures and instructions given by the local persons. Never open racks or cabinets without authorization or use industrial devices to perform activities which are not part of your duties. Never connect external equipment like computers or removable media to the industrial control systems without authorization. Even if authorized, always verify that your devices are virus-free before connecting them, ideally by scanning them using a dedicated scanning station. Never connect the industrial control systems to the internet or to other networks on your own. In particular, it is forbidden to connect your smartphone to the systems, or to connect your own computer to the internet when it's connected to the ICS. Never share sensitive or confidential information like passwords or technical data without authorization. Never modify the industrial control system without authorization too. When leaving your workplace, make sure that computers are locked to prevent unwanted use. Also, doors and cabinets need to be locked to avoid unauthorized access. Once the work is complete, you must provide details regarding any modifications to your contact person. Also, don't forget to return any borrowed items before you leave the site. These industrial cybersecurity best practices must always be applied. Failure to do so or not respecting any additional local cybersecurity guidelines could entail dismissal from the site. Depending on your work and the site, additional requirements may apply. For more information, or if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask your local contact person. And remember, in industrial cybersecurity, you are the first line of defense.
HSOO2. Job safety plans.
Acquiring target. Target acquired. Clear to engage. Don't get caught in the line of fire.
Identifying hazards before injuries or accidents occur. Every day we are surrounded by hazards that could cause injury or illness if we fail to recognize the dangers. Being aware of our surroundings and the dangers that exist is critical to staying out of the line of fire. So what does it mean to be in the line of fire? Being in the line of fire is the equivalent of being in harm's way, being in the path of moving equipment, under a suspended load, exposed to direct spray from a line break. In simple terms, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So how do we avoid being in the line of fire? Job safety plans are our number one tool for minimizing risk as we carry out our daily tasks. The JSP prompts us to consider the potential hazards and the controls needed to ensure our safety. Much of the job safety plan is self-explanatory. It should be filled out in coordination with the person in charge, likely the shift engineer. Let's take a few minutes to review. From left to right, top to bottom. Enter your name, the work order number, date and time, area where you will be working, and a brief description of the work you will be doing. The next section is where you indicate if a permit is required. If a permit is required, you will enter the permit number once the permit is created. The emergency response section will likely be filled out. If the information is not correct, update the information accordingly. In Section 2A, provide a brief description of the job sequence or tasks that will be carried out. In Section 2B, list the hazards associated with the job and risk rating. Ratings are divided into 3 groups: normal, semi-critical, and critical. Select the rating that is appropriate to the hazard. In Section 2C, provide details of the methods and controls you will use to mitigate the hazards entered in Section 2B. There is additional space on page 2 for more tasks, hazard identification, or mitigation controls. Each person involved in the job must write their name in Section 3A and initial prior to starting the work. When the work is complete or someone leaves the job, they must initial the sign-off section. The authorized requester in Section 3B is the lead person performing the work. The authorized person in charge is most often the shift engineer in the control room. The last section of page 1 is the job completion section. Please be sure to fill this section out so the shift engineer knows the status of the job. As was stated earlier, page 2 of the job safety plan provides additional space to continue adding job sequence steps, identify hazards, and listing other controls to mitigate hazards. The center section of this page is a continuation of Section 3A, from page 1, for additional team members to sign on and off. The bottom of page 2 is to be completed when a change to the worksite occurs, when the job plan must be modified, or new hazards are identified. Any change to the original job plan will require a review of the hazards and the controls needed to ensure everyone's safety. Write a brief but adequate description of the scope change that includes the reason for the change and what is needed. Take time to review the changes with all team members. Page 3 of the job safety plan begins at the top with identification of the nearest safety shower or eye wash station. Next to this, the nearest washroom is identified. And to the right of this is where the nearest first aid station is located. If you are not familiar with the site or these locations, ask one of the staff to show you where to find them. The remainder of the page is a checklist of activities that will help you recognize tasks, hazards, and consider mitigating controls. Go through the checklist placing check marks next to any activities that will occur during the job. If you are using a grinder, be sure to inspect it thoroughly. The cord must be free of damage, handles and guards in place. Record the rated speed of the grinder and the wheel. The wheel must have a speed rating greater than the grinder. If the job includes hot work, be sure to enter the name of the person performing fire watch. The last page of the job safety plan is a quick check of NG's 9 life-saving rules. Place a check mark in any of the boxes that apply to the work you are performing. If you have any questions about the job safety plan, NG's policies, or procedures, speak with the shift engineer. We are here to help, and we want everyone to work safely. You are the best person to ensure your safety. Be vigilant, keep your mind on the task you are performing, and be aware of your surroundings. Look for hazards, take action, avoid being in the line of fire.
Visitors and subcontractors are essential to West Windsor Power's health and safety program success. Your participation and compliance with our policies and procedures is both appreciated and expected. While you are on site, you may request access to our guest wireless network. Your device must have antivirus software enabled with current virus signatures. All security-relevant patches installed. The firewall must be enabled. Shared files should be exchanged by email if possible. Removable media and memory storage devices must be virus scanned by an NG employee prior to being connected to any NG computer systems. No photographs or videos of the facility, equipment, documents or people may be taken without prior approval from the plant manager. In addition, photography and videos that are allowed cannot be published without prior approval from NG's Director of Marketing. Information approved for removal from the site must be returned to NG or securely disposed of after use. No information, photos, documentation, manuals, printed or electronic, may be shared with third parties without prior approval of the plant manager. All contractors must provide their own tools unless it is agreed that West Windsor Power will provide the necessary tools or equipment. If you are planning to bring chemicals on site for cleaning or other work, a copy of the safety data sheet must be available to the person using the product and West Windsor Power. Chemicals must be properly labeled with a workplace label. If you are bringing fuel for portable equipment on site, it must be stored in an approved container and properly stored. If you break or damage anything in the plant or even suspect that you may have, report it immediately. Damage to equipment may have consequences that you may not be aware of. The sooner we can respond to a problem, the easier it will be to resolve. Anyone at West Windsor Power wishing to use the forklift, turbine haul overhead crane or other equipment must be site trained and approved to operate this equipment. Subcontract employees must ensure they are adequately trained and competent to perform the work they are assigned. If you have any questions about the work you are about to perform, ask for clarification. We will be happy to review our policies, procedures and answer any questions you have. Do not begin any work until your questions have been answered to your satisfaction and you have a clear understanding of the tasks, risk and controls necessary to perform the work safely.
If there is an emergency in the facility that requires immediate attention, you will hear the following alarm over the plant paging system. Stop what you are doing, and listen for instructions. Then proceed as instructed. In the event of an evacuation, the shift engineer will request that everyone muster at the front gate. Take enough time to safely secure your work area, then proceed immediately to the front gate. Once everyone is assembled, an attendance will be taken. If necessary, anyone unaccounted for will be located and directed to the muster point. Do not return to the building until the shift engineer announces that it is safe to do so. If you spot a fire or any other emergency, notify the shift engineer immediately. Either go to the control room, call the control room extension 227 or use a two-way radio to report the emergency. If you are unable to notify the shift engineer, notify the closest staff member you can find. Once you have alerted the staff, follow the instructions that are given. All staff are trained in first aid, CPR, and the use of an automatic defibrillator, as well as firefighting and spill management. We know where our safety equipment and emergency response materials are. Let a staff member know right away if you discover a safety concern or emergency situation.
So what is between you and workplace hazards? An effective approach to controlling risk involves multiple layers of controls. When possible, it is preferred to eliminate the hazard, physically remove it. If it is not possible to physically remove the hazard, substitution should be considered. Replace the hazard with one of lower likelihood and/or severity. When elimination and substitution are not possible, engineering controls like guards and barriers can be effective in reducing your exposure to hazards. The next level is awareness. You must be aware of the hazard in order to avoid a potentially dangerous event. Once you are aware of the hazards, administrative controls, for example policies and procedures, will further reduce your risk of being exposed to a hazard. The last line of defense between you and hazards is your personal protective equipment. When all controls fail, your PPE is designed to protect you. That is why it is vitally important that you wear your PPE. Inspect your PPE often and replace it when it is worn out or damaged. All of these layers of control, when used properly, greatly improve your safety. Everyone working on site are required to wear appropriate personal protective equipment. This includes safety footwear with puncture-resistant sole, crush-resistant toe protection and electrical insulation. A long-sleeve shirt, preferably cotton or other flame-retardant material. Long pants, again, preferably cotton or other flame-retardant material. Hearing protection in any area where the sound level is 85 decibels or louder. There are sound level signs throughout the facility. Please take note of these signs. Be aware your work may cause a temporary increase in sound level, requiring hearing protection to be worn. In addition, you are also required to wear a CSA-approved hard hat. And of course, eye protection is required throughout the facility. Side shields are approved if the lenses of your glasses are impact resistant. Hard hats and safety glasses can be provided to temporary visitors if needed. Just let us know.
This concludes the site safety orientation. Thank you for participating in this training. Your ability to see hazards and put controls in place to minimize risk will help to ensure everyone's safety on the job. During the video, we covered a portion of the health and safety procedures that are likely to apply to everyone while working at West Windsor Power. It is not possible to do an in-depth review of all topics in such a short period of time. However, it is important that everyone understand the expectations and requirements. We encourage everyone to work with the contractor coordinator, shift engineer, or other NG staff to review the policies and procedures in greater detail. All of our health and safety procedures are available for everyone to review. Your actions contribute to NG's health and safety performance. After more than 25 years, we are close to achieving 10,000 days without a lost time accident. For that we say, thank you to everyone that helped us get here. At this time, you are requested to fill out the site safety orientation form and the certifications form. If you are viewing this video on YouTube, there are links to these forms in the description. You may also scan the QR codes with a smartphone or request an email link. Again, thank you for working safely at West Windsor Power.